These are some of the most unique discs I've seen in a long time. But why are their designs so different? Well, according to the marketing, they fly just as far as other discs with less effort. But is that true? And what more do you need to know before taking a chance on supersonic discs? We'll find out, because these are our first impressions. Hey everyone, it's Greg from Six Sided Discs, and a quick reminder that we're going to be at Disc East, the expo in Boxborough, Massachusetts, this coming Saturday and Sunday. Stop by our booth and shop our full selection of custom stamps, apparel, and if you're one of the first 100 people to come up and show us you're subscribed, you'll get a free Six Sided Discs logo Velcro patch for your bag. We can't wait to see you there. And in case you can't already tell, I am excited. Not just for the expo, but because today I get to do one of my favorite things, throwing discs from a brand I've never heard of, even if these are the current conditions on the course. First though, a huge shout out to Supersonic Discs. When I reached out to ask them for samples, I figured I would get one of each mold, but I got an entire box full. So apart from the samples that I can't resell, all the rest of these will be available on our website. So let's kick things off with their first disc, their putter, the Momentum. Rated at 3700, the Momentum is a smooth, rounded putter that reminds me a lot of the Discraft Luna. Smooth all the way around, the feel in the hand is comfortable and familiar. And like all discs from Supersonic, it comes in 2 different plastics, as well as a wide variety of weights. I'll be throwing 3 different Momentums today. The first 2 are both in Sonic Grip plastic. This blue Momentum is max weight with metal flakes and a faint puddle top, while this yellow one is in Sonic Grip as well, but is much lighter, 160 grams, and a little bit more domey by comparison. Finally, we have a Sonic Glow at 170 grams, which is nice and flat. And the Momentum is quite intriguing. Thrown at low power, it flies nice and straight, with very little turn or fade. But if you add a little too much power, things can get a little crazy. The Momentum is capable of some huge hyzer flip turnovers. But before we explore the rest of the discs from Supersonic, which includes a PDGA-approved hybrid ultimate disc, we're going to learn a little bit more about Supersonic and where they come from. Because right out of the gate, we need to adjust our expectations of what these discs are designed to do. Hailing from Denmark, Supersonic's first disc was the aforementioned Momentum, approved in November of 2023. The other 4 discs in their lineup arrived within the next 12 months, including a quote-unquote mid-range, 2 fairway drivers, and a distance driver. Supersonic's primary focus is on making the game more accessible to more players by making discs that allegedly require less power, put less strain on your body, but still allow you to maintain control and distance. To quote their website, less power needed, same distance. The patented shape of the disc provides an advantage to your game. You no longer need to use all of your force and strength with each throw to get great length. Our discs travel far with less arm speed, giving you more control over your game. They also claim that their discs are less affected by the wind, and given we have a bit of a breeze blowing today, we'll soon find out. Next up in their lineup though, is their mid-range, the Loop. But forget everything you think you know about mid-ranges, because this one is a 2-speed, slower than their putter, and is absolutely massive. Designed as a hybrid ultimate disc, the Loop is rated at 2900 and weighs in anywhere from 166 grams to 197 grams. Yes, it is PDGA approved, and yes, it is anything but a conventional design. Big, chunky, deep, it barely fits in my Squatch bag, and if you're not careful, it will swallow up another disc in your bag and have you searching around the course thinking you lost it. So what is the Loop actually good at on the course? Well, it's good at slow, floaty shots, slowly drifting and gently fading with ease. The fact that it's called a mid-range, though, is a little confusing. Being rated at 2 speed seems just about right, and it flies super slow, and definitely nowhere near as far as the Momentum, which begs the question, why not just call it a putter? In fact, I don't even know that it's that either. It's sort of just like a hybrid utility approach disc. But nevertheless, it is fun to throw. And what may develop into a bit of a theme with Supersonic discs, if you power up on it, you get a totally different flight. In this case, hyzer flip drifting turnovers. Let's move on though to their drivers. And while the Momentum was a somewhat familiar design, their drivers are anything but. This is the Trailblazer. Rated at 7404, it's a flat top, overstable fairway driver, but with a smoothly rounded wing. And very nearly the entire disc is below the parting line. It actually feels pretty nice in the hand. If I have any complaint, it might be just a little too shallow for my taste. And with that rounded rim, it does feel like I might get an unintentional release. In fact, on my first throw with it, that's exactly what happened. But once I got the hang of it, the Trailblazer was pretty fun to throw. Thrown flat, it'll hold that line for a moment before a dependable fade. On hyzer, it resists flipping up and holds that line. And on anhyzer, it smoothly fights out, showing that reliable stability. Overall, I'm pretty impressed with the Trailblazer. While it might take some getting used to, it does have exactly what you're looking for in an overstable fairway. Stepping back briefly from the discs themselves, let's talk about Supersonic's plastics. Supersonic has two plastic blends, Sonic Grip and Sonic Glow. Sonic Grip can be opaque or translucent. Some of the discs have metal flakes while others don't, and they can vary in weight from the high 140 gram range all the way into max weight 170 plus gram discs. Sonic Glow has the same weight range as Sonic Grip, from the lower 150s up to about 180. And Sonic Glow is also pretty impressive in terms of brightness and glow duration. Here it is side by side with one of our custom Eclipse Envies from MVP. Both plastic blends have an interesting combination of grip and stiffness. They sort of feel like a really high quality mid-grade plastic rather than like a slick premium plastic. So both give you a really good grip on the disc, which would be great in these types of conditions. Two more discs though to explore. Let's check out our last fairway driver, the Punz Skater. Rated at 9.4, -22, the Punz Skater is a tricky one. Again, a smoothly rounded design, but this time, pretty much the entire disc is above the parting line, the exact opposite of the Trailblazer. It does feel very comfortable in the hand, but that comfort didn't really translate to control for me. At lower speeds, it was fairly quick to fade out, only flying about 220 feet. And with any increase in power for me, it quickly went from slightly overstable to very understable. I personally struggled to get both turn and fade on the same flight, but I'll be the first to admit that I don't throw particularly well at low speed. So the question is, can their distance driver do any better? This is the Sugar Glider. Rated at 11.6, -11, it is, to my eye, a slightly wider, lower profile version of the Punz Skater. It feels great in the hand, but is it any more usable for me than the Punz Skater was? Well, yes. On a slight hyzer, with maybe 40% power, I was able to get a smooth hyzer flip that drifted and was even trying to fade back when it caught the last Guardian tree. Similarly, in an open field with minimal power, you can get smooth, easy turnovers just like this. But just like we've seen from the other discs from Supersonic, it can also do this. Huge glide, massive turn, and because they're lightweight, this mild headwind was pretty impactful. Which takes us back to Supersonic's marketing, which I should point out has definitely been translated from Danish to English. No disrespect. And I want to address each of the three claims that I think they made in their marketing. Firstly, do the discs fly well with little strain or power? Secondly, do they fly as far as other discs with less power? And lastly, are they less affected by the wind? So for question one, do they fly well with less strain on my arm? Yeah, pretty much. The Sugar Glider in particular had effortless flight. And the Momentum and Punz Skater didn't need much power either. But question two, do they fly as far as other discs with the same power? I don't think so. They do fly pretty far with not a lot of power, but you definitely quickly reach a point where any extra power added to that shot just makes them turn more and more and more. And finally, question three, are they less affected by the wind? I don't think so. I could definitely tell when I was throwing into the headwind. In fact, with many of these being lighter weight discs, I would expect them to be even more affected by the wind. However, in my opinion, any sort of negative conclusions that I've drawn about supersonic discs, I'm not sure matter, because these discs are not for me. These are some of the smoothest, easiest flying discs I've thrown in a long time. They're easy to throw, and it's a great stepping stone for players that are working their way up to normal, full-size, full-weight discs. And I would 100% recommend them to beginners or just people that play casually and want discs that are easy to throw. If you're interested in trying supersonic discs, you can find a list of authorized dealers on their website, supersonicdiscs.com. And we'll have a small selection of the discs we tested available on our website while supplies last at sixsideddiscs.com. You'll find them in the From Our YouTube section at 10% off their retail price since they were lightly used. What did you think of supersonic discs? And what other brands should we explore in the future? Leave a comment down below. For Six Sided Discs, I'm Greg. We'll see you at the expo.
I really like our new hats, but I don't think it's the choice of hat for this particular weather.
Hey everyone, it's Greg from Six Sided Discs, and a quick reminder that we're going to be at the Disc Golf Expo. Hey. And finally, question 3, are they? And like all discs in If you like this content and want to see more, please consider liking the video, subscribing to our channel, or supporting us on Patreon. Your support makes this content possible.